Welcome back to Geekly Review. Your host, Andrew.
And I'm Jay.
And of course, so if you're any type of comic fan, nerd,
Or
Marvel comic
anything
fan,
in the news. Yeah, so this week we suffered a tragic loss in the entertainment world. And I say entertainment world because this individual brought more to us than just comics. Actually, I think revolutionized our entire entertainment industry of today.
yeah, so obviously Stan Lee died this week.
Yeah.
And, so we did our tribute video on Steve Ditko when he passed away over the summer, so we would be super remiss if we did not do one for Stan Lee. So that will be this week's video.
Yeah. So as you guys know, Stan Lee, comic book writer and creator of a lot of famous characters. He started his career back in Timely Comics in 1939.
Yeah, man, he was just 17 years old when he got into the industry.
And then he went to the Army after that in 1942 to 1945. And then after that, just focused his entire career on comic books and creating. And of course, he's known for co-creating some of our favorite characters, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Fantastic Four, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man.
And the list is going. Chances are he pretty much touched it or did something, those main ones.
Exactly. And then he also co-created Black Panther, who was the first African-American superhero. So, he brought that into the industry as well. So, this guy does so much for a world that I think we all grown to love over the years. No matter what generation you're from or when you were born, I think you can always find a character that this man brought into our lives so that it, influenced you in some way, shape, or form.
Just, over the decades, man. And he's had his hands in just about everything Marvel, not just the comic books, but, movies, TV shows,
video games.
Yeah. So the nerd culture, basically, you name it, everybody knows Stan Lee. And even that's the more powerful element to him is even the people that aren't fans of comics or anything,
you've never even read a comic book in their life, can tell you who Stan Lee is. And to do that in itself is crazy. It just says about who he was and how it's great he was as a person and a creator.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, man. So, we don't have to go touch into his history life. You guys can all read that up on Wikipedia and everything. But
for sure,
we just kind of want to really talk about what he meant for us.
Yeah,
man.
Personally, what influence he brought to our lives and our upbringing, and kind of know what he did.
Ever since I was a kid, the earliest I can remember, Spider-Man and X-Men have been some of my favorite comic book superheroes. At least on the Marvel side,
Yeah.
Just grew up watching the animated series in the 90s.
One of my favorites.
Any little video game that can come out, even if they weren't that great back in the day. Yeah. Some of them, I'd still play some of those old ones. And then the comics, man. Like I said, if I'm talking some of my favorite works, I'll probably reiterate some of the ones that we talked about in the Ditko video, the ones he did with that first run of Doctor Strange. Is still one of my. It's so entertaining, it still holds up, and it's a really fun read. Some of those early Spider-Man comics that we talked about before are great. And then the work he did with Jack Kirby on Thor, some of that early work was just fantastic. You hear everything, even just from his video game cameos, or his famous catchphrase "Excelsior," the Latin phrase "ever upward," just his life motto. You hear it all the time from him. You hear it in all his works, his comics. He'd sign off on them, "Excelsior" and everything. It's inspiring.
For sure. If that's your catchphrase, it's inspiring. But yeah, for me, it's always Spider-Man. The earliest thing I remember was my favorite superhero, and I remember birthday after birthday when people lit the candles make a wish. I always wish I had Spider-Man powers. It would do me no good in a little small town I grew up in, because it wasn't upscale New York with buildings and stuff like that. But I still wanted to be Spider-Man, and that just showed what creativity, how awesome those characters are. This was during a time I was watching Dragon Ball Z and Power Rangers
Right.
and Pokemon Digital and all stuff like that. And Spider-Man was the one thing. If I had one wish, was to be Spider-Man and have his powers. That was my number one thing.
Just the exhilaration from swinging from buildings. And
it's just awesome.
everything.
The reflexes and the superhuman strength. And the character's just so cool. It's no wonder like he's like, I don't know, one of the most famous, popular characters of all time. He's so cool. To me, he was.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree for sure.
I remember seeing a quote from Stan Lee. He said he really couldn't pick a favorite superhero because everyone he worked on at the time was his favorite was his favorite. But then there was also a later quote that said if he had to pick one, it would probably be Spider-Man because of the joy it brought people and how popular he became. He just wanted to make people happy with his work. And
yeah, he loved it, man.
Yeah.
Even in the new Spider-Man game, right? His my little cameo in that, like all the way up until the one that just came out. Little Spider-Man and Mary Jane, or Peter Parker and Mary Jane sitting at a diner, I think it was, in the game.
Yeah.
And he says, like, you guys were always my favorite couple.
Yeah, that was, if I had to pick a favorite cameo he had, it was probably that one.
Okay. Let's talk about that a little bit, man. So, we'd be remiss to talk about, obviously, his many cameos.
It's weird to say that my favorite came from the video game. It wasn't him acting. I guess it's what he said in the moment of the game is why it became my favorite. Because you're really involved, like with the characters, you're connected. You're really, I don't know. When playing the entire game, you're invested, I guess. And then to hear him say that, it's kind of like a flashback of everything from the comics to the animated series to the movies and everything like that. And what those two characters went through together, and just for him to say like that's you two are my favorite. It's like, oh, that's awesome.
That's true.
You can tell, like,
it's true because I think he's the one thing he's cameoed in every single thing, at least in those series with multiple movies, I think is Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. He's been in every single Spider-Man movie that's come out, even stuff in like the animated series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he started cameo even dating back to like the Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk. I think he was in an episode there. But for me, the new video game cameo was a great one. The Civil War one always comes to mind when he's like the FedEx guys and he's like, "Is this Tony Stank?" That one's just one of the it's more funnier ones that I like. Mm-hmm. Like the Silver Surfer Fantastic Four movie, I think, when he's like trying to attend the wedding of Reed Richards and he gets denied access. He's like, "No, I should be on the list. I'm Stan Lee." And yeah, some of those funny ones, man. But yeah, I might, as far as the meaningful one, man, I think I might tend to agree with you on that new Spider-Man game, man.
It's out of nowhere, and
yeah,
I don't know, it just hits you. It's funny that you bring up the Incredible Hulk of Lou Ferrigno, like, and he co-created that character as well. That's actually my dad's favorite superhero. So I mean, that's
the Hulk.
Yeah, so he I don't know, he influences or touches so many different generations, and it's going to be ongoing. I think forever his characters will be around in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely, especially right now. Yeah. It's at the height of its popularity that's been in a long time.
He's immortalized, and I mean, it's greatly so. He should be. I can't say enough good things about this man and what he brought to us. And he owns the entertainment industry now. Even though he's gone, his work is what's still driving. Like, Disney is like selling out movies because of this man's creations. That says a lot.
Man, absolutely, man. It's a sad thing. It's not surprising. I mean, he's 95 years old. You know, he had a long life, great life, man. So, I mean, it doesn't come as a shock, but it's definitely felt, and it's definitely a sad thing for comic fans everywhere.
He missed, for sure. Thoughts go out to his family and friends and everybody close to him. Sorry about you guys' loss.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an entire world loss as well. We do share in the grief, and
look forward to hopefully a couple more cameos. I'm sure they probably finished shooting with
we want to see
Captain Marvel, Spider-Man. So hopefully we get at least one or two more.
Yeah,
and then it's just remembering his work now, and as it keeps coming. Mm-hmm. So yeah, guys. I mean, that's our thoughts on it. I mean, we can keep going on and on how much he means to everybody. But let us know. Let us know in the comments what Stan Lee means to you guys.
Yeah, what influence did he have in your life, or what memory did he influence?
Yeah, we'd love to hear it, man.
I guess we'll catch you next time.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.
It's really difficult to say what I'm proudest of in my career. I think maybe I'm proudest of the fact that so many people walk up and say, I just want to thank you for all the enjoyment you've brought. Maybe what I'm doing isn't really unimportant. Maybe entertainment is one of the most important things, because there are so many bad things in the world that if you can entertain somebody for a while, it's a good thing.
You see, for me, superheroes will always spark the imagination of people around the world, regardless of their background, because I think that people are always looking for something that represents the ideal person or the ideal situation.
Marvel has always been and always will be a reflection of the world right outside our window. That world may change and evolve, but the one thing that will never change is the way we tell our stories of heroism. Those stories have room for everyone, regardless of their race, gender, religion, or color of their skin. The only things we don't have room for are hatred, intolerance, and bigotry. Excelsior!